Welcome everyone to Yoga Basics. Today the props that you will need are a yoga strap. If you have a block, then that will be handy, and a chair. And then sitting comfortably on your mat, preferably either on your block or on some folded blankets. Legs are crossed or extended. And then we'll just take a few moments to prepare. So go ahead and close the eyes and turn the attention inward. Just taking a moment to notice how your body feels. Especially noting any areas of tension or tightness. And then we'll take 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck. And the shoulders. And then turn the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then we'll begin a nice, even breathing. Inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just continue this nice, even breathing. If at any time it makes you lightheaded or dizzy, just go back to your own normal breathing pattern. And then we also set an intention for each practice to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. If you did have your legs folded and you want to switch that top leg, go ahead and do that. And then we'll turn and look out over that right shoulder. And coming back to center, turning to look out over the left. And back to center, dropping the chin to the chest. And then picking the chin up towards the ceiling and jutting that lower jaw out. And back to center. And dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center. And left ear to left shoulder. And back to center. Extending the hands out in front. Open and close the fingers. And then some wrist circles. And reverse. And then bringing the hands back to the lap, we'll do some shrugs. So picking those shoulders up, pulling them back down. And then the next time you pick the shoulders up, roll them to the back. Good. And bringing the shoulders back to neutral, extending the elbows, bringing the fingertips together, and then just slowly lifting one elbow and then the other, keeping the torso still. Good. And then just coming back to neutral, taking the right hand, placing it to the outside of that right hip. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, and exhale, bending to the right. And then release back to center, switch arms. Inhale, right arm up, and exhale, bend to the left. And then release back to center, coming into a twist, placing the left hand on the right knee. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, bring that right hand around behind you as you turn and look to the right. Good. Release back to center, switch hands. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, turn and look to the left. And then release back to center. Go ahead and extend the legs if you have them crossed and shake them out a little bit. And then taking your hands, placing them behind the right thigh, pull that knee in and extend it out. And the next time you pull the knee in, hold it there, point and flex the foot. And then some ankle circles. And reverse. Good. Switching legs. Same thing, just bend and extend. And the next time you pull it in, hold it there, point and flex the foot. And circles. And reverse. Good. And then bringing that leg down, we'll come onto hands and knees. If you would like to open up your blankets, feel free to do that. So as you come onto hands and knees, wrists are under the shoulders, knees are stacked under the hips. And with an inhale, we'll lift the chest, arching the spine, coming into cow pose. And with the exhale, press into the hands, rounding the spine, coming into cat. Inhale, back to cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. And again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Bringing the spine back to neutral and then dropping the hips back to the heels, coming into child's pose. So just taking a few breaths here, supporting the head by stacking your fists or grabbing your block. And then we're going to come into a little warm-up, coming from child's pose into Cobra. So extending your arms out in front of you. With your next inhale, come back up to hands and knees, and then with the exhale, drop your hips and lift the chest. And then pushing into those hands back into child's pose. And then inhale as you come back into Cobra. Exhale into child's pose. And again, inhale, drop the hips, lift the chest. And exhale. And then leaving the arms extended, come back up, walk the hands forward if you want to stay in puppy pose, or from here, pressing into the hands, curling the toes, and coming into downward facing dog. Keep a bend in the knees so that you can keep the back straight, extend through the arms, and breathe. Good. And then from here, drop your knees down. We're going to come up to standing. So if you'd like to step a foot forward or rock back onto the balls of the feet, you can go ahead and put your blanket to the side. And then come up to standing. Good. All right. So from here, standing on the long side of your mat, right in the middle, we're going to start by coming into Tadasana. So having those feet about hip width apart, finding the four corners of the feet, tightening the front of the thighs, lift and tighten the abdominals, lengthen the spine. Pick those shoulders up as you roll them down the back, lift the chest. Good, gazing forward and taking a few breaths here. Good. All right, we're going to now come into chair pose. So your legs will stay grounded just like you did, or how you have them for Tadasana. And with an inhale, we're going to do it a couple of times. So we'll start with the arms just directly out in front at shoulder height. With your exhale, push the weight back in the hips, coming down. Now I want you to glance down, look at your knees. Make sure that you can see your toes. So those knees are behind the toes and in line with about your second and third toe. So in other words, you're not out here, or this is what usually happens, or the knees come in. So you want to keep those knees in line with the toes. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then inhale, come on up. Just kind of shake those legs out a little bit. We're going to try it one more time, and this time we're going to add a little heel lift. So sort of like what you did if you did walking the dog, what we called in downward facing dog, just bending one knee and then the other, or lifting one heel. We're going to try that here in chair. All right, with the inhale, bring those arms forward, and then exhale, again, coming back into the pose. Make sure those knees are behind the toes. And then see if you can lift one heel and then the other. Good. Just strengthening those leg muscles a little more. Keep that chest lifted. Good. All right, last lift here. Press into those heels as you inhale and come up. Good. Shake it out. And then we'll just do an easy little twist here. Keep the knees soft just to loosen up a little bit. Good. All right. So now we're going to come into a wide stance. So I want you to widen your feet as wide as you safely can. You're also welcome to bring the chair in front of you, the back of the chair. If you're feeling a little unsteady, then always have that chair nearby for you to hold on to. All right, so we're going to start here in star pose. So with those legs wide, bring the arms up to shoulder height. And then we're going to do some little exercise for the glutes. This is an isometric exercise, meaning we're going to tighten or contract those muscles, but they're not going to be moving. And you do that by imagining you're pushing your feet out towards the short end of the mat. So as you push into those outer edges of your feet, you should feel that all the way up into those glutes. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. All right. Bring those arms down. Give them a little rest. And now we're going to turn the toes out a good 45 degrees. And you can adjust this. We're going to come down into a deep squat, and then you can adjust your feet so your knees line up with your toes. All right. So bending here from the hip crease. As you exhale, just drop the hips, keep the chest lifted. Now you're going to push a little bit of that weight back in the hips, but you want to keep your chest lifted. Good, and we're just going to hold this as you continue to breathe. Good, just using all those muscles, warming them up. Try to keep your knees in line with your toes. That's why I adjust your feet. Good. All right. With your inhale, come on up. Take that left foot, bring it back so that it's facing forward. And then the right foot, we're going to continue to turn out at 90 degrees. And then look down, make sure your right heel is in line with the instep of the left foot. And then bend that right knee. So you want it stacked right over the ankle. I can probably come a little wider here. As we come into warrior two. So that left hip is going to be angled a little bit to the right. That's fine. From the waist up, you're going to turn and face the front. Bring the arms up to shoulder height. If that bothers your shoulder, then you're always welcome to place a hand on the hip. And then turn to look out over that middle right finger. Good. Press into that left heel, or I'm sorry, your right heel, and your left pinky toe. Good. Continue to breathe. And then from here, we're going to come into side angle. So take a nice big inhale. With your exhale, you're going to lean a little bit to the right. Place your right forearm on that right thigh, and then sweep the left arm up next to the ear. Again, if this is uncomfortable for your shoulder, then you're welcome to keep your hand on the hip. Just focus on that left shoulder. Keep it open. Don't let it collapse forward. Good. So the palm is facing down, that left palm. Keep breathing. And then with the inhale, just lift the torso. Good. Straighten the right knee. Relax those arms down. Do a couple shoulder rolls, wiggle it out. Turn the right foot forward. And then we'll try it on the left side. So the left foot turns out, again lining it up with the instep of the right foot. Bending the left knee, stacking it over the ankle, and you'll notice now that right hip is going to be angling a little bit to the left. That's okay. And then turning to face the front and looking out over that left middle finger. Try to keep the abdominals tight. Again, now pressing into the left heel and the pinky toe side of the right foot. Good, and then coming into side angle, inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to lean to the left, place the forearm on the left thigh, sweep the right arm up, or you can even tuck it behind you. That will help open up that right shoulder, or just on the hip. So options there for your arms. Good, continue to breathe. Good, and then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift the torso, straighten that left knee, relax those arms down, turn your left foot in, and then just a little heel, toe, so you can step the feet together and just wiggle it all out, shake it all out. And we're now going to come into tree pose. So you may want to have your chair nearby to hold on to. Whoops. Step mine over here. I'm loud, I apologize for that. All right, so let's start by shifting the weight into the right leg. You're going to bend the left knee, take it out on the diagonal. Remember, you can slide your left foot over to the right ankle, leave your toes on the floor, or pick the foot up to the outside of the calf, or pull the foot up to the inner thigh. So any of those three positions, to me it depends on what you're wearing, otherwise that foot's going to slide off. So I'm going to keep it here on my calf. And then bringing the hands to prayer. You're always welcome to keep that one hand here. Once you've got your gazing point, you're steady, then extending one or both arms. Good. Reach up with those fingertips. Keep the abdominals tight. And breathe. Good. And then with your exhale, go ahead and release the arms. Release that left leg. Walk it out. Shake out that standing leg. And then we'll try it on the other side. All right, weights in the left leg now. Same thing, bending the right knee, taking it out, sliding the foot over, keeping the toes on the floor, foot's on the outside of the calf or in the inner thigh. Let me see if I can keep it here. Bring the hands to prayer, find your gazing point, and then extending those arms up. Or even keeping them in prayer, whatever is the challenge for you today. because sometimes you do have better balance than others. It just depends. It just depends on the day sometimes. Let's see if I can let go here. Good, and breathe. Good, and with your exhale, bring those arms down. Release that right leg and shake out that left leg. Good. And you can come back to that, just bending one knee and then the other. Maybe rolling your ankles a little bit. All right, we're gonna come back down on the mat, so go ahead and just put your chair to the side. And we'll come down to a seated position, extending the legs out in front of us. Keep your knees bent. We're going to be doing a little core exercise here, and that's working the back and actually the abdominals too. So sitting up nice and tall here, you can start by holding on to your shins. As you inhale, extending up through the back. And then, keeping the back straight, I want you just to lean back a little bit so you're on your sacrum, which is that flat part of the spine. Good. And then with your inhale, coming back up. So we'll try that a couple of times, just extending back. Now make sure you're not bending at the waist. So my back stays perfectly straight. I'm bending from down here. Just rolling back on my sacrum and then pulling myself back up. So you're welcome to keep your hands on your shins. Just to extend back a little bit, pull yourself up, or extending the arms out. So inhale, and with your exhale, just extending back, keep that back straight. Inhale, pull yourself back up. Exhale, back. Inhale, up. Good, let's try it 2 more times. Exhale, back. Inhale, up. Good, last one. Exhale, back. Good, inhale, up. All right, just holding on to those shins to relax it out. Extend the legs, shake it out a little bit. You probably were feeling that here in those psoas muscles. Good, so we'll try to relax them out a little bit. So now we're going to come down on our belly. I'm going to actually turn this way. I have a little more room. So as you come down, just kind of wiggle through to make yourself comfortable. If you need to open up your blanket to pad the pelvis, then feel free to do that. And then take your elbows out to the side. Put your one hand on top of the other. And then just lay your cheek on your hand. So you're just going to turn your head. It doesn't matter whichever direction you want to pick. And just take a few moments here to kind of melt into the mat. Just feel the abdominal muscles relax. Your legs become heavy. And then switching your hands and switching your head. So now turning your head so the other cheek is resting on the hands. But again, just completely melting into your mat. And then we're going to do some stretches and then come into a little back bend. So from here, I want you to extend your arms out in front of you. And then as you put your head down, either put your chin or your forehead on the mat. The forehead is going to bring your neck down a little bit more. So if it's more comfortable, just have your chin on the mat. And then reach through those fingertips. Just walk those fingertips up as far as you can. And then at the same time, reach through your toes. So you're just really getting this nice, good stretch. Good. And then we're going to take the legs out wide, just to the edges of the mat, and then widen your hands. So you look like you're an X. Good. And again, just keep the neck in line with the spine. You're looking down. And now I want you to reach, but I want you to reach through your left fingertips and your right toes. And then reach through your right fingertips and your left toes. And continue to breathe. Good. And then go ahead and bring everything back to center. And then slide your arms back so that your elbows are just in front of your shoulders. And then you're going to pick up those lower arms and hands and just cross your hands and just rest your chin on your hands. So that, again, I'm supporting my neck. I'm just gazing forward, maybe about, 2 feet or so in front of my mat. But yet you should begin to feel this in the back. So it's just a gentle back bend here, but lengthening through the spine, supporting the cervical spine. Good, and continue to breathe. This is actually called crocodile pose. I'm not really sure why. Maybe with supporting the head, it looks like an open crocodile. I'm not sure, but good. All right. So let's take those hands, bring them back down to the mat. This time, slide the hands under the shoulders. Curl your toes. Push yourself back up into a seated position. And then we're going to swing the legs around. Come back down. I didn't mean a seated position. I'm in a tabletop. Now you're going to be in a seated position. We're still going to stay on the mat. We're going to come down on our backs. Make sure you have your strap and anything else that you would need for Savasana. And then maybe repositioning yourself to the middle of the mat. And then rolling down onto your back. Good. And then extending the right leg, we're going to come into a twist. So you're going to begin to roll onto your right side. Just take your left big toe and place it just behind the right knee. You can take your right hand, hold on to that left knee. Now, you don't want to go all the way over so that your left shoulder is way up here. So you're going to be about halfway on that right hip so you can bring that left shoulder back down to the mat. And then turn to look out over that left shoulder. So I'm just putting some very gentle pressure here, and I'm feeling this nice stretch in my left hip. Good, and breathe. Good, and then release that left knee back to center and we'll switch sides. So extend the left leg, same thing, that right big toe is just a little bit behind that left knee. You're gonna roll about halfway onto that left hip so you can keep the right shoulder as close to the mat as you can. And just put your left hand on the right knee. You can put a little pressure on it to deepen this stretch. And then looking out over the right shoulder. And breathing. Good. And then inhale, come back to center. Go ahead and bend both knees. Make sure you have your strap nearby. And then extending, let's extend the left leg again. Bend the right knee and just pull that knee in and get a nice hug here. Just hug that knee in. Good. And then grabbing your strap, finding that midpoint, we'll come into Supta Pandangusthasana. So extending the leg and then holding on to either end of the strap, pull the shoulders down, press that right thigh away from you so you feel a nice stretch in that hamstring. Remember, there isn't any pain or discomfort, so if you're trying to lift the leg too high, drop it down a little bit. Good. And breathe. And then gathering both ends of the strap in the right hand, focusing on that left hip. So you want to keep the left hip as close to the mat as you can. So I don't want you rolling onto your right side. Drop that right leg out to the side. Put your right elbow on the mat so that it gives you some support in holding your strap. And then you want to do this rotation, external rotation. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift the heel of the right foot so that it's in line with your toes. Good. Now, if you feel like that left hip has come up too far, then just bring that right leg back up so that the left hip comes down towards the mat a little more. Good. And breathe. Good. And then bending that right knee, come back to center, remove your strap, and we'll try that on the other side. So let's start by hugging that left knee in. If you have low back issues, keep the right knee bent, sole of the foot on the floor. All right. Here we go, placing that strap on the ball of that left foot. Again, extend the arms and then pull the shoulders down. Press the left thigh away from you. Okay. And you don't have to have, the leg at 90 degrees. Maybe you're right here and you're still getting a good stretch in that hamstring. That's all that we're looking for here. So make sure that you're feeling a nice stretch. It does not have to be at 90 degrees or up towards your head or anything like that. All right, so coming into Supta Pandangusthasana 2, you're going to now grab the strap with the left hand, both ends. Again, focus on this right hip. We want to keep it down towards the mat. As you begin to drop that left knee out, bring the left elbow down, and then rotating that foot so that the heel is in line with your toes. And breathing. Good, and then bending the left knee. Go ahead and remove your strap. And if you didn't have your right knee bent, go ahead and bend that too. So both feet are flat on the mat. Have your strap nearby though, because you may want to use it for a reclined pigeon. So take your right foot, cross it over the left thigh. And then you want to pick up your left foot, bringing the left knee and this right lower leg towards your chest. If your hip is tight, then use that strap behind your left knee to just pull that thigh in towards you. Or you can take your right hand through this little triangle here and use your hands to hold on to the back of the left thigh. And then I experiment a little bit with this left leg. Like if you lift the left leg up, that takes a little bit of pressure off of, you can see as you begin to bend the knee, then that comes in a little bit more. So maybe you want to be halfway here. Good, and breathe. Good, then bring the left foot down. Let's try it on the right, or on the left hip by crossing the left foot. Good, and then same thing, if you want to grab your strap behind the left thigh or right thigh, pick that right foot up. You can experiment here with that right lower leg, however high you want to pull it. Good, and breathe. Good, and then with the exhale, go ahead and bring the right leg down. Release the left leg. And then come back up to a seated position just for a moment. Grab your chair and bring it to the short end of your mat. Now, if you have a hard seat like this, then take your blanket and just put that on your seat. And then we're going to do what's called legs on a chair, or a modification of legs up the wall. But this is a great exercise to relax the psoas muscles, that muscle that we worked when we did our back extension. So come back down on your back, but you want to bring your hips close enough to the chair that you can bring your lower legs up on the chair. Good. So sitting just about 90 degrees here, having the legs bent, and just completely relaxing. This relaxes that psoas muscle. And we'll just take a minute or two to relax here. I'm just going to check my time. Good. And just come back to melting into your mat. Relaxing your back if you want to wiggle it out a little bit. Relaxing down through the hips. Good. And then to come out of the pose, just pick the legs up and roll onto your side. And then you want to just extend the chair so that you've got room to then lay down. rolling onto your back again, coming into Savasana. So you'll stay laying on the mat. I'm going to come up to seated. So whatever you need to make yourself more comfortable, placing a blanket under the head or the knees. Let's see, where's my other blanket? It's like, where's my other blanket? All right. So as you come into the pose, feet should be about 6 inches apart, arms a little bit away from the body, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, opening up through the chest. And then as you close your eyes, return your attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And with your next inhale, let the abdomen rise first, then the chest, filling the lungs all the way up to the collarbones. And with your exhale, then let the collarbones fall first, then the chest, then the abdomen, drawing the navel to the spine. And just continue with a few of these nice deep breaths. And focusing on the physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release any tension or tightness. And focus on the mind. Release any thoughts, worries, or anxieties. With your next inhale, think the word so. And with the exhale, think the word hum, which means I am. Or use any other words or phrase that has meaning to you. And give yourself just a few moments to completely let go. Begin to deepen your breath. And then start moving your fingers and toes. And then the wrists and the ankles. When you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position. And taking a few breaths here. And then using your left hand to support you, pushing yourself back up into a seated position. And keeping the body relaxed and the eyes closed for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then we'll take one more deep cleansing breath. So take a nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.